Hello, today I'm going to teach you how to weave duct tape, and then also I'll do a quick little thing on how to make a clutch purse. This is a little clutch purse that I made out of weaving duct tape, and it's just simple weaving, but instead of just using two colors the same like pattern every single time, I just switched it up, like this, and like that, see? So and once you weave it, it's really easy to make this. It's really simple. And then this is just some woven stuff. But first to weave, you have to make a lot of strips. And to do this, I'm going to just use a simple neon pink. And then this one, I don't really know what it's called. It's called Paisley Princess. And it's like the Scotch brand. I've never used it before, but we're going to see how it works. Okay, so first you got to get out your knife. It's a lot easier to use a knife, let me tell you that. Because I've used scissors for a really long time, and once I started using a knife, it was crazy how much easier it was. And also, having a cutting board really helps too, because it just has these little like handy marks, which is nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna do small strips just because I'm showing you how to weave. I'm not actually gonna make a clutch purse right now, because it takes a while. Like the thing is that actually making the clutch purse takes like 5 minutes, like less, but it's the weaving that takes a really long time. Okay, I'm just gonna cut 5 inches, call it good. And I'm gonna cut a lot of these. Sorry, it takes a while. Okay, and so, just kidding, I'm just gonna do 2. And so now that you have a 5-inch piece, whatever, like, it depends how long you wanna do it. I just kind of, like, the thing is a square of duct tape is like 0.8 inches or something, so it's a really annoying amount. And so typically whenever you're doing this, what I do is I'll be like, okay, if I want mine, like this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 9 squares long, so I'll be like, okay, I'll do 9 inches, but it's not going to end up being 9 inches. But actually, I add an extra square on because it never goes the way you want. So I'll do 10 inches of duct tape, if that's the size I wanted to make it, but it's not going to be perfect. You're definitely going to have to change it up because it won't work that way. Okay, so now that you have this, you're just going to do a simple little fold over, whatever. And I found out the easiest way to fold it over without getting any bubbles. And see, okay, so I'll fold it over first where it's just touching at the top. I don't know if you can really see that, but it's only touching at the top. It's not here or anything. And then I push down in the middle, like that. And then I kind of rub it like this, so then I get all the air bubbles out. Like this, because otherwise, if you just kind of like pat it down like randomly, you can get lots of really random air bubbles. See how there's no air bubbles in that? It does get a little twisted awkwardly though. Okay, so do that here too. So you're just gonna keep doing this till you get as many as you want, and it will take. This is the hardest part, and it just takes a really long time. Okay, now that we've done that, see, I just have like, I don't have that many. I just have a couple. I have 4 here, so I want mine 4 inches wide. As you can see there, that's kind of like 4 squares. That's 4 inches. And then, since these are 5 inches long, I got 5 of these. But in a bigger one, you're gonna need more because it's just gonna kind of mess up. It's really difficult to project sometimes. So I just have a small one, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so the one thing that I will say, this is kind of a helpful trick, is that whenever you fold it over, you're gonna have one side that's sticky because, like, they folded over, that's the part, and then you're gonna have the one side that's not. Whenever you lay these down, and these are like the long ways ones, obviously, you're gonna want to you don't want the sticky sides touching because they kind of like get stuck together, and it's really hard to weave then. So I like have the non-sticky, and I put it to the sticky, non-sticky, and put it to the sticky, like that. Okay, so that's just kind of a helpful hint. But first I'm going to get my first little strand of Paisley Princess, or whatever it's called. And I am going to set it like that. See how, okay, I don't know if you can really see that. But I went over, under, and I just set it in there. And the first one's always the hardest in my opinion, because you have to get it started. And yeah, There we go. Okay, so you gotta move it all the way down to the bottom. Okay, I hope you can see that. Anyways, so now I cut off one, let me get this, one thing of neon pink, because that was just the thing I wanted for my border. That was the same length as these, so that was 4 inches. So now I have this right here, and I'm going to just cover it up like just a really small, I don't know, a 1/4 of an inch kind of thing. Not a 1/4 of an inch, sorry. An 1/8 of an inch. Like, not that much. You can do a 1/4 of an inch, whatever. But that's just what I do. Yeah, probably 1/4. Okay. So you cover it up like that. So that's what really holds it in place. And you might have to move a couple. And then you're going to pick it up. And the one thing is whenever you tape it like that, it doesn't catch 2 of them. Because it just doesn't. So now you're going to flip it over like this. Okay. So you have it like on there, 1/4 of an inch. You have your little thing set up. And then you're going to just fold it over all the way. Like that. Okay, so that's the back. I just folded it over all the way. And that's the front, like that. Now the next one is a little bit different. But this is how I always remember it. I say, okay, if you see the other color, that's the one you got to pull back. I don't know, it works for me. And so when you pull it back, you're gonna realize there is some duct tape there, and that's just how it works. See, there's a little bit of duct tape there, but just ignore it. You pull it back as far as you can. Don't pull it back too far because you mess it up. So you see the color there. You pull it back. You set this one in. Okay, see, this one you can't really see, but I set it too close, so I have to pick it up and bring it back a little. Okay, so ta-da, there's that. And it's going to go off a little bit on the side, no one really cares. So see color, put it in, and so the third one and past that you don't have to like pull it off a duct tape thing because there's none there. Just go like this. And as you can see, you have this cool little weave pattern that I think looks really cute on a lot of purses because on some I can understand how it doesn't, but otherwise it can get really boring because it's just like plain old duct tape, and that's not fun. So that's why I like to do weaving, because I think it can make the duct tape purse look a lot cooler. So then once you have it in there, as you can see, I'm kind of like squishing them together so it fits better, and that you don't have any like rectangles that are, or like squares that are rectangles, and you know, so they're all the same. Okay, so there we go. There's that. It's my beautiful little thing. And you're just going to go and get your pink because that was my border color. I'm going to cut to the length of this so that I can, and I'll just trim it up on the sides. Little scissors here. And I'll put my border on. So yeah, just do that and that will be handy. So now I put all my borders on, and they're kind of hard to see because they just blended with the pink obviously, but what that does is that just holds it together, and I just folded the rest back, as you can see. But then there's like a random little spot there that is, you know, you can see the weaving, so just cover that up with a piece of duct tape. The one really important thing about the borders though is you have to keep them constant. I mean, you want to keep it straight the whole way, and that's why you really have to trim it well, otherwise it could look bad. And I mean, I know you can't see this, but on this one it's not straight and it kind of goes at a diagonal, and it's thicker there than it's thinner there, so it doesn't look as good. And if you're using a different color border, you can really tell too. So the one thing about borders is you always want to keep that like constant, it all looks the same. And so that's one thing about borders. Okay, so I'm not going to show you how to do a clutch purse with this because that's really small, but I did this earlier, and this is just a really big piece of, you know, duct tape, and I weaved it together, just purple and paint splatter, and then it's yellow on the back. And so then what I'm going to do with this is it's really simple to make this from here. Is you just get it and you decide how big you want it to be. Like, you know, I just count it in squares because I'm weird like that. But so let's say I want mine 4 squares, which is really more like 3.5. So I'm gonna have my 3.5 squares there. Gonna fold it over like that, and then fold this over, so you have that. See, like, so I just have it like this, and I just folded it over. And this one, the thing is, when I made this, I didn't really design this to be a clutch purse. so it's not really like the right size, if that makes sense. But one thing I do like about clutches is that you can see a little bit at the bottom. I just think that makes it look better. But that's kind of difficult to do with this one. But so you're just gonna have it all folded over, and you're gonna get your duct tape. Okay. See, I'm obviously doing purple, so it just blends in. And you're gonna do it the length of the body of the clutch purse, whatever you want to call it. Just gonna cut it. Remember, whenever you're cutting, don't have any like limbs in the way. It really hurts to be cut by these. Okay, so you have it like that. You're gonna put half of it there. That's not half, but pretend it is. And then you're just gonna flip it over and fold. And then once you do it to both sides, you have a clutch purse, and you just put a magnet in there, and that's pretty simple. Just like get a magnet, get some duct tape, put the magnet. You have to. This is the one thing, is that you have to make sure that you like do the magnets right. So when you put it in there, you gotta make sure you have it right. So I put my magnet on my duct tape, and oh, okay, I should have used yellow, but pretend I did. And you go like that, stick it on there, and then you'd get this one, and you do the same thing with duct tape. Stick it wherever it's supposed to be, like that. So I'd stick it right there. The one thing about weaving is it does get really difficult to do a magnet right there. But an easy way sometimes is to seriously just put it on the inside, which can make it a lot easier because it's hard to go and try to cover that up with the right like pattern. So you just put it on the inside and it will still click. Don't worry. Like on this one, it's on the inside, and see how you can't even tell. Just bam. That's what I love about this one. But so there you go. That's how you weave and you create a clutch purse. And I know this is a really bad clutch purse, but that was just kind of to show you the simple little tutorial about how to do it. So thanks for watching, and I hope you were able to learn how to do this.